when you're talking about government issues, national issues, most of the issues we're trying to deal with are at least a decade or 2 decades long. So when you talk about this population white paper, which I know is very popular amongst all of you, we are talking about something that we are projecting for over 2 decades by the end of 2030. Now that is a long time, and many people will tell you, if you look back 20 years, this is, 2013, so what, we're talking about 1993, and you ask people in 1993, what do you think the world will be like in 2013? Nobody would have guessed half the things that are going on here. That you'll go around with a phone that's got the power of a computer, and that you can connect wirelessly and do all the things that we are doing. I mean, nobody would have anticipated these things and the consequences. So why does government do this? Because a lot of the decisions that government needs to make are in that nature, has to plan for the long term. So I give you one example of short term versus long term, CPF contributions, right? Compulsory savings. Every individual will turn and say, why do you need to take my money? It's actually not taking, it's just keeping it in an account that is being safeguarded for the long term. People can still use their money for buying flats, money to pay for medical, and then there's some savings for retirement. But it is an example of a long-term planning, because if people don't start saving for their own retirement, when the time comes, they're going to be in a lurch, right? And so what do? We put in place rules so that the employer will contribute, the employee of course contributes for himself or herself, and then the government will also step in and do top-ups and other things. And then we try and work together to plan for that future. But it's a long-term away. If you're 25 years old and I tell you when you are 65, this will be very beneficial to you, I don't think you're going to be very impressed, right? You're going to tell me, well, forget about 65, what about tomorrow and next year and so on. So it's the same issue as with a company trying to do quarterly profit reporting. So governments have a challenge. So the stronger the bond between the people and the government in terms of support and belief and trust, the more governments can do long-term things, which are in the best interest of the country, but in the short term they may cause some pain. When that weakens, your challenge is greater. So how can we try and do that? Well, we can explain, we can educate, we can do everything we can. But at the end of the day, people have to make the judgment. So ultimately I put my confidence in the judgment of people who vote. If you're informed, well informed with the right kind of information, you have a good picture of what the challenges are, then you make the choice. And if the government has got the support of the people, they can make long-term changes.